But Darren, give it to me straight and remember his family might be listening. Is
Oh,
Carlos
no.
Vela washed?
No!
Welcome to Happy Foot, Sad Foot, your LAFC gateway drug and the only LAFC podcast that misses one PK and then insists on taking the second. I'm Travis Helwig.
And I'm Darren Miller. Welcome to our preview of back-to-back MLS matches between LAFC and Houston Dynamo FC.
Dynamo!
The Dynamo. The Houston Dynamo FC Dynamo. First on Saturday, June 10th at 5:30.
The city is Houston Dynamo FC and the name of the team is Dynamo.
The Houston Dynamo Dynamos.
The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Welcome your mascot, the Houston Dynamo's Dynamo.
And his name, of course, Dynamo. All right, we're off the rails. Go. Tell us the time of the
Let's
game.
see if we can find the rails somewhere. The first of these two matches is Saturday, June 10th at 5:30 p.m. at Shell Energy Stadium in Houston. Love a good gas company. Followed by the same matchup on Wednesday, June 14th at 7:30 p.m. at BMO Stadium. Both
Banks,
of which you can
equally
watch.
good.
We love Banks. We love Banks on this show, which you can watch both on Apple TV for free. And we'll be live streaming our post-game call-in show on our YouTube channel 10 minutes after the final whistle for both games at youtube.com/@happyfootsadfoot. Subscribe to the channel. You'll get notified when we go live.
Later in the show, we'll have a special Lionel Messi bonus edition of Bet It and Forget It, and we'll learn all the storylines for the Houston home and home. But first, we pretend to be friends to make you feel more comfortable. It's time for listener-mandated banter. Darren, how are you?
I'm doing well. That was a bit, guys. We're actually real friends. Travis was.
I got something to banter. You want to get real? You want to get real, Darren? Should we do it?
This sounds like less banter, more. What's it called? Shit.
Therapy?
What's the word? I'm just blanking on the word when you're like venting, not venting.
Venting, yeah, venting's
Okay.
a word. You've made me less mad just by saying it. The special segment, the Lionel Messi Bet It and Forget It, is a last minute segment because we were canceled on.
Oh, we're going here, huh?
Yeah, but last minute by a Houston Dynamo podcast, and I just want to say, fuck them.
Is this? Yeah, up until now we've been doing what I would call like maybe even excessively friendly cross podcast segments with other teams' podcasts, and it seemed like it was kind of a like not part of any like opposing fan shenanigans that could go on, and maybe this isn't that either, but maybe it is. Maybe you choose the route of like, oh, the other team's fan podcast. We have a way of fucking them over, so let's take it.
I would just say that most people are professionals, and then some people aren't professionals.
Okay.
I was like, as I was saying, should I say this to myself? I was like, what's the consequences of me talking shit about this Houston Dynamo podcast? And I'm like, I guess if they want to beat me up, I can't go to Houston, but that seems like a reward to me, an excuse to not go to Houston.
Oh man. When I like to knock other people down, I like to do a lot more research beforehand and like really get in there.
I have no idea who these people are.
I have no idea who these people are. I haven't listened to their podcast. It seemed cool. It seemed cool to learn about Houston through people who are legitimate fans of Houston.
To be fair,
saying that out loud sounds silly because who's a fan of the city of Houston? Oh, I love the lack of zoning restrictions. Sorry.
Oh, no income taxes. I bet your public transportation rules. There's
a lot more space for all the guns.
Yeah. I can't wait to find a parking spot for the parking lot that I'm walking to. So to be fair to them, we record this podcast usually around 7:30 at night Pacific time.
Be
That's
specific.
9:30 at
Yes.
night their time. We've had
It's
people on
like,
the East Coast do it even later than that, but we're always upfront about it. And they agreed. And then last minute they said no. And I'm not going to say what they were doing instead because I don't need to embarrass them anymore. That's enough banter. Let's
or
start the
ourselves.
show, Darren. If it turns
Well,
out that they're very strong and good fighters, I still don't think I'll regret it. Because if I get beat up because someone from a Houston Dynamo podcast has beef with me, that's the funniest way to get beat up.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We're inching toward like podcast drama, and I think the more we do that, the funnier and dumber it is. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that can
I
only be a
agree.
good thing. I think there's also a possibility that they turn out to be like genuinely great, nice, cool dudes, and
If
that's still
you
funny.
also
That's still fun.
none of you fucking snitch tag Houston Dynamo. If you're listening to this and you're like, maybe it's this one, I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna write that they suck. Don't do that.
We're
Don't
about to
do this.
find
It's a
out who the
secret.
real.
But
This is
yeah,
for friend of the feet only. We're about to find out who the real friends of the feet are.
if you're a friend of the
Friends of the
foot, if
foot,
you're a fucking friend
real
of the
friend of the
foot,
foot.
okay, you don't say a word
How
because I
lame
know
can we
some
sound
are gonna want to
talking
get
shit?
in on this. And this is our secret. Okay. This is a secret between us and you. And that's all. Okay.
Listen,
Don't
if you listen
fucking
to this
snitch.
podcast, we're family. Okay, family does not snitch on one another.
I would help you hide a body if you ask. All you have to do is DM me and I need proof that you follow me and I will help you hide a
Absolutely, we
body.
will.
Let's start
Absolutely.
the show.
Happy
Start
foot,
the show,
sad foot,
please.
dead foot. Well,
Corpse foot.
corpse foot. That's all you have to say to us, in fact. All you say is corpse foot and a location for us to meet you there. And you have 4 hands ready to hold whatever it is you need held while something else pours something else on that thing.
This is too much banter. We have a no banter rule and we're breaking it.
That's true. We also don't want to be held hostage by our listeners. We're really stuck between a rock and a hard place on all of this. As king of the casuals, it's my duty to help normal, reasonable people like me keep up with everything there is to know about LAFC while also having one or more other things to live for too, so that we can enjoy being fans and also do other things like have a job and a family and be able to hold a conversation with another human about something that isn't LAFC if I want. And as my throne straddles the razor-thin line between this and those who are too far gone down the LAFC rabbit hole to ever return to normal society in any worthwhile way, I'm close enough to my friend Travis, the human LAFC crazy wall, to stay at a safe distance from both of us while he reveals the deeper storylines that make every match more significant and enjoyable in a segment we call Storylines.
Darren, I've been lucky enough to travel this country a lot when I was with Pod Save America. I traveled to most major cities with them on tour, and I got to see almost the entire United States. And let me
Wow.
tell you, some of it is surprisingly wonderful. I would have never thought that San Antonio would be a dream of a place. Sacramento, genuinely lovely. Madison, Wisconsin, more like Gladison, Wisconsin.
Cool, because you're glad when you're there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there are only 2 places in America that I've traveled to and said, I'm cool with never going back there. One, the boring desert hellscape known as Phoenix, Arizona. It's like Las Vegas if nothing fun happened there. And 2, a parking lot pretending to be a city known as Houston, Texas. Everyone in Houston will tell you it's a true metropolis full of culture and art and dining. It's the good Texas city. And I'm here to tell you, I'd rather be in fucking Dallas. Okay, at least Dallas knows it sucks. Houston thinks it's cool, and it 100% is not. And unfortunately, for the fine, cultured folks of LAFC, they will be traveling down to Houston this weekend to play the Houston Dynamo FC Dynamo.
Of Houston.
And then, just 4 days later, the Dynamo again come up to a beautiful city of LA and play us for the second time in a week.
Real
2
hangers
games,
on.
2 games against one team in a week is a bit strange. We haven't done that since the Champions League final. Darren, I forget, how did that work out for us?
No, we will not do this. We're not speaking of this. Stop that.
All of that is to bring us to the first storyline of this match, which is this. We are inside the most treacherously packed schedule in the entire league. We are being punished for our success in the Champions League, and MLS is asking us to make up for the games we missed and make it up fast. Including the 2 we've already played, we have 7 games in June. That's exactly 2 a week. And I don't know if you know this, Darren, but soccer teams normally play 1 game a week. And it couldn't be coming at a worse time. Our team is beaten and bloody and tired. Aaron Long's head cracked open like a Kinder Surprise egg. Palencia got Tanya Hardinged by a ghost. And we still have Chiellini and Acosta and Tillman playing through some injuries that we don't really know about. Darren, what's the worst sports injury you've ever had?
Ooh, a torn meniscus in my right knee.
Ooh, that's a bad one. I didn't know it was going to be serious.
Oh, well, I don't know. You asked, I answered. I was happy to oblige.
When people say playing midseason tournaments fucks with your team's ability to compete in the regular season, this is exactly what they mean. We have already played more games than every other team, and now we're being asked to play even more. And if we end up with 1 or 2 more injuries, our entire fucking roster falls apart. And thanks to Don Garber's archaic and backwards roster rules, we can't afford to build the depth of roster that we need right now. Which brings us to our second storyline, Darren. And it's something we haven't said on this podcast before, which is this. LAFC is in a bit of a rut right now.
Yikes.
We have only won. Yeah, we haven't been doing good, Darren. We have only won 1 game in our last 6. In our last 4 matches, LAFC has only scored a single goal. We used to score like 3 or 4 a game at the beginning of the season. That's wild. And sure, we looked great against Atlanta, but we could not finish. And in fact, this is our longest scoreless streak at home since the team launched in 2018. Not great, Darren. Not great.
That's the whole time.
Yeah.
That's the whole time that there is.
There's no, we couldn't have scored before we were a team, if you think about it.
It's true. It was 0 goals.
Mm-hmm.
But
not the same. But not the same.
That's bad. This is bad.
Not only that, Darren, but Texas is an incredibly difficult place for us to play. We do not like humidity as a team. Last season, we played in Texas 3 times, and we lost all 3 games, including a 4-1 humiliation against Austin. And one reason this rut might be happening, Darren, is our third storyline, which you're not going to love.
Oh, no.
And it's this. Our captain, Carlos Vela.
Oh, God, I'm going to hate this one.
Is not playing like our captain, Carlos Vela. Carlos has earned all the credit in the world. We should give him the benefit of the doubt at all times. He gave MLS probably the best single season in the history of the league. He's been our most important and consistent player since our team was founded, and he's probably the reason our team means anything to the league right now. He's scored some good goals this season. He's laid some fantastic assists. But still,
I don't like where this is going. Too much positivity.
It might be time to face it, Darren. The guy is 34. His conditioning is just off. And worst of all, he seems in his head about his own bullshit. Missing 2 PKs in a row is something we expect from Chicharito, but not something from our quote-unquote PK specialist. He, for all intents and purposes, does not have it right now. And if he allows himself to doubt himself, the whole thing's going to crumble. It's that fucking easy. Personally, I think we've seen enough this year to say, at least, like, hey, man, we should buy you down so you're not a DP anymore so we can go win some more trophies and you get to win some more trophies. And I hope he's humble enough to understand that he's more of a Chiellini than a Bawanga right now. Darren, give it to me straight.
Ooh. I
Darren,
feel
give
like
it to
that
me.
was like more. That was. Go ahead, please.
No. I want to hear what you had to say about. I was
I
proud
just
of
feel
that
like
line.
at first you were like more polite than I expected a little bit. It was like tactful, just doesn't have it right now. I was like, that's not a bad way to put it. Okay. But it was really like you were kind of just like lightly outlining with the tip of the knife a circle around right where you were gonna stab in the bullseye.
It's like when you have to convince your grandma not to drive anymore, you can't just tell her not to drive. You have to remind her how fun
Yeah.
it'll be for me to drive you everywhere.
It's not the thing that you need to say, it's the result that needs to happen.
Yes, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's ends justify the means. But Darren, give it to me straight and remember his family might be listening. Is
Oh
Carlos
no.
Vela washed?
No! No, he's not. Do you want me to
Oh, so
elaborate?
you think he should remain a DP and start for us at all times and maybe play 90 minutes a game?
You asked me a question. I answered that question.
Oh, so you just must think that he's, one one of our top two players on the team.
Oh, you had to be so specific. He's not one of the top two players on the team.
Top three.
Right now, I mean, like his stats are his stats. He's not having a great year. I think his passing is still good, which is one of his biggest strengths. One of his few remaining strengths currently. We're talking about him from the context and perspective of the bar that he's set currently, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
when we say Vela doesn't have it or Vela's having a bad season, it's not the same as saying like, I don't know, Sifu's having a bad season. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
having a bad season for Vela. It's not like he doesn't belong on the pitch at all.
Mm-hmm. So how
I
many
mean,
minutes did you
earlier,
give him?
oh fuck, I can't walk anywhere without falling into a booby trap.
I think we need him to get out of his head fast, or it's
Yeah,
going to go south.
that's
Very,
what
very
I think he's
soon.
capable of. I don't like decisions being made that suggest he's not capable of playing better than he's playing. Does that make
And look,
sense?
yeah,
I
I'm
think he
just taking
can
out.
get it back.
I'm taking out my hatred of the Houston podcast on you right now.
No, I don't feel like I feel like you're toying with me. I don't feel like you're taking anything out
I'm
on me.
Jigsaw. I'm trying to teach you a
Yeah.
lesson. All that brings us to our final storyline of the match, which is this. Our home and home against Houston might just be a place where he and all of us turn it around. Houston is currently 10th in the West, falling just outside of the playoffs at the moment with 5 wins, 3 draws, and 7 losses. They are through to the U.S. Open Cup semifinals, but in their last 2 regular season games, they have been decimated by letting in a barrage of goals. St. Louis scored 3 against them. Vancouver scored 6 against them. This team has been struggling to keep the ball out of the net, and that might be just what LAFC and Carlos Vela need at the moment. Their top scorer is 25-year-old Moroccan Amin Bassi, I believe that's how you say it, who has 6 goals in 12 games, not including the one he scored against Chicago in the Open Cup. He's doing all of this not as a DP, which is always impressive, Chicho Arango. The long time...
You had to do it.
The longtime DP on their team, most of us know, is Hector Herrera, a 33-year-old Mexican player with 3 goals and 4 assists on the season. But much like Carlos Vela, he's getting up there. And I also want to mention Houston is home to some of our part of our history posse, including Franco Escobar and Corey Baird. And Baird's having a pretty good season, so watch him try to prove something against us in the 2 games. But Houston is a beatable team, and we are better than them on paper in almost every way. And if we don't walk away from these 2 games with at least 4 points, I think we can say that this week was a failure. Those are the storylines of this week's 2 games, the most negative storylines we've ever had. But face it, Darren, that's where we are right now. When we come back, let's play a Messi betting game.
And we're back. Well, we've heard the storylines. We're playing Houston twice in a row. They're currently 5-7-3, the single most boring record you can have. And we'll be talking about them even more for the next 2 post-game shows. Meanwhile, the biggest news in MLS history dropped this week, and we're 2 degenerates who can't help but gamble about it. So we're going to play a special bonus edition of Bet It and Forget It.
Bet it and forget it.
called Honestly, Who Gives a Shit About Houston? Let's Talk About Messi.
Bet it and forget it.
We don't have a different soundbite for that title. But you get 2 Bet It and Forget It soundbites for this game.
We're going to get a third later.
For the actual Bet It and Forget It. You know, your last storyline was just the only thing that the other podcast guys would have said in the interview. So
yeah.
We got it. Thanks, guys. Messi is coming to the MLS. Messi is coming to the MLS. We can talk about it on its face if we want. But once we have, there are a lot of open questions about how this will affect the MLS and the world, you might say, once he's here. So we have a handful of prop bets here, and we have no choice but to go ahead. Head to head on them. And the last one, we're going to leave open to you, the audience, and we'll have a fun giveaway for that. More on that as it breaks. We'll have breaking news on the podcast from within the world of the podcast. Are we ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. We should get rid of number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They'll never know what it was. They'll never know. I mean, it was too explicit.
It was really sexual.
On this show, that doesn't sound that outlandish.
Yeah, it was about how much Darren loves the police. Keep going.
Oh fuck.
Okay, let's do it. We're too loose.
Okay. First one is okay. So LAFC plays Inter Miami on September 3rd at BMO Stadium. I don't know if we want to bet on all of these things, but there's a number of things we can decide on. The final score, whether Messi will score, how many he'll score, Bowanga's goals. What are we doing here? Do you want to predict the final score?
Let's do all 3.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
let's do all 3. So final score, Messi goals, Bowanga. No, I'm gonna do Messi goals, Bowanga goals, final score. Messi goals 2. He's gonna hear about how fun and hard it is to play here, and he's gonna take it out on
you do get the feeling that like each game he'll be able to decide how many goals to score.
Yes, that's true.
That feels like a good decision for him to make.
So he's gonna score 2. Bowanga's gonna score 0 because he's gonna try too hard to score against Messi. But he has scored against Messi before, and I just want to point that out. And the final score of the game is going to be 3-2. We win against Miami, even though Messi scored 2 goals.
Okay. So is this going to be a situation where we're specific enough that we could just neither of us will win?
Yeah, who cares?
Great. So the final score will be 3-1 LAFC.
Great.
Messi will score 1 goal. Bowanga will score 1 goal. And Vela will score 1 goal.
And then a mystery, whoever we sign in the summer will score the third.
Yeah.
Sifu will score 1 from Scotland. Okay. Question number 2.
Yes.
When will he debut and how many games will Messi play for Inter Miami this season? There's 18 games remaining. The transfer window opens on July 5th, at which point they will have played 20 matches. Currently, they've played 16. Let's do the math. I mean, it's 14 games are possible for him to play in regular season. We're not talking about Leagues Cup, correct?
Correct. How many MLS games will he play?
So I don't want to look it up, but turf is going to play a factor. I think a lot of teams play on turf. I would say maybe like a fourth of teams, maybe a fifth of teams.
It's too many.
I don't think he's going to play on any turf, but there is a chance that they move venues to make sure Messi comes. I think, he's getting partial ownership of Inter Miami. I think he's going to want to play. So I'm going to go with 13 of 14 possible games.
Whoa. Okay, that's way higher than I would have expected. I was going to say 11, but that feels like I'm squeezing you out. I'm going to say 10.
Okay.
I don't think
it's a safer bet.
Yeah, but I think it's like he gets to do whatever the fuck he wants now. If on one day he decides he doesn't feel like playing, that's fine. Go for it.
The only reason I think
something really interesting that people are gonna move potentially to get him to come. Like, we're talking about a situation where like he has all the leverage in the world every game, one at a time, to be like, okay, what's gonna get me there? What do you think? What do you have for me? Every game.
I would hate it if you didn't leave popcorn in my dressing room. Question 3. Will he play in the MLS All-Star game? Darren, you want to go first on this one?
I think I would go as far as to say they might have even like put it in the contract. Like, it shouldn't be too much of a give for him to play. I think yes.
I'm going to say no.
For the league.
I'm going to say no, but he participates in All-Star Weekend somehow. So he's
Oh,
not,
oh,
he
that's so
doesn't play, he
lame.
like does like this skills competition,
That's so
or
like
maybe he like,
American pro sports.
yeah, he's not going to get hurt in the All-Star game. Who are we playing? Arsenal or Liverpool or some shit? He's not going to play in the All-Star game because it will take a spot away from someone who deserves it. He will participate in All-Star Weekend though.
You're gonna win that one. That was good. That was solid. Okay. Well, Don Garber loosened the roster rules before or during the summer transfer window. This presupposes that it will be one of the two.
No,
Oh, or
I'm
not.
when I, or yeah, or that he won't do it. If he does not do it, he's a fucking idiot. He's an idiot, and he's coddling people who will never make him money. Messi is about to make him so much money, and the league can make so much more money. And if that means that oopsie daisy, the Colorado Rapids go out of business, so fucking be it, my man. I don't know how the contracts work. It's crazy that it's a single entity, but like these owners are holding back the team. And right now, there's a moment, especially building up to the US hosting the World Cup, that the MLS could become a top tier team if we allow a top tier league if we allow teams to spend. I don't think we're ever going to be better than the Premier League. I don't think we'll come close, probably. That's just going to be the best league forever. But we could easily become part of the conversation, especially when you look at like German leagues and French leagues where the same two teams dominate at all times. US is a huge market. Soccer is becoming huge here. It'll get even bigger when we host the World Cup. Let the league fucking breathe. If he doesn't do it, he's a fucking idiot. I'm going to say that he's not going to do it.
I'm happy to let you have that side to support that passion. I will say that he's going to do it.
Finally, this is the one we're opening up to everyone. We mentioned it on the post-game show. So we're going to ask you this question, and we're going to ask you to respond, whether you saw it on Twitter or Instagram, and who's ever closest is going to get a special secret surprise at the end of the season. And the question is this: how many points will Inter Miami have at the end of the season? Closest to their final point total wins. They currently have 15 points on 16 games, which is very bad. They have 18 games remaining. That means the max points they can have at the end of the season is 69. They will have played 20 matches by the time Messi comes. That means that they will have 14 matches left in the regular season once Messi arrives. But if they won every game from here out to the end of the season, 69 is the max that they could have. Darren, how many points will they have at the end of the season? We're not going to do going over matters. It's just who's closest.
Just who's closest. So yeah, you could say 74, and if you're still closest, actually that's true. If you're closest, yeah. So 69 means they win every game, right?
Yes, from here on out, including the games they don't have Messi.
Which is, according to you, 1.
No, 4.
Oh, right, because of the games between now and then.
Yeah.
Okay. Oof. I'm gonna say 54.
It's a lot of points.
51.
Okay. I'm going to say, I'm not good at math. I'm not even going to try to do it. You guys at home have an advantage because you're going to look at the schedule and make guesses or whatever.
I literally thought of a number just now.
You said 51?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 39.
That sets a nice little spectrum for people to play with. I should also say, if you respond in a comment on what our social post or whatever, and you say a number, but you notice that someone else guesses the same number, you can respond again and make an amendment to your guess if you'd like. Because who wants to share a secret special prize?
Yeah. And we all have the ability. If for some reason you don't see it on another platform or something, we'll figure it out. But I don't know. You guys are adults. You can figure it out.
Depending on what it is, which we obviously know. We know what it is.
This episode's running long because I yelled at another podcast. So when we come back, we're going to make more bets.
Believe it or not, we're back again. And now that we're gambling addicts, Travis and I are gonna... Oh God. Bet It and Forget It is taking over this show. It is the Bet It and Forget It takeover show. It's time for Bet It and Forget It. Every week, Travis and I end the show with a bet for this week's games.
Bet it and forget it.
And no matter what we do, we won't miss a week, even though we did last week. We'll make an outlandish prediction for that week, something that will almost definitely not happen, but it could. Each week, we both put up $5. If no one hits, the money rolls over to the next week. Eventually, by the time someone's weird prediction comes true, they might win a good chunk of change. Neither of our bets cashed last week because there were no bets, because we did a mini pod, because LAFC plays 300 games a week. Also, I had food poisoning. So our bet pool for this week is at 90.
That's the most it's ever been.
The most it's ever been. This is the new jackpot. Could you hear that playing?
I did hear that one was low. Yeah.
Some of them get loud. That's what I get for living at the airport.
Last week, I guessed that there'd be fan sabotage in Leon to try to distract us from winning the game. Turns out they didn't need to do it.
They didn't do that at all.
Darren, what was your prediction?
I stuck with my Ordaz bet from the game before, I believe.
Right. There's something in my wine. Okay, I have a prediction I'm very confident in, Darren. This one is definitely going to happen.
I don't know how to wrap my head around you being so confident about your bet.
I know, it's going to sound like I have inside information because I feel so confident, but I don't. Confident. It's just sometimes you get a feeling and you know you're going to hit. And what my prediction is that over the course of the 2 Houston games, 3 goals will be scored by Carlos Vela. Carlos Vela will score 3 goals in 2 games.
Wow. My bet was very similar.
I want to hear it.
My bet was a Vela brace.
In one of the games?
In one of the games. Maybe we do something. Maybe we do a similar bet. That'd be interesting.
Well, the problem is in order for that, if I am correct, yours is also correct. And yet you can be correct and I can't be correct. You know what I mean? So it makes it so I could never win.
He could score 3 goals in one game.
But he would still get a brace in that game. He'd just get a brace and a hat trick.
Sure.
See, we could say no, because that I don't want to do that. That puts me at too much of a disadvantage. I can change my bet if you want me to.
No. I do want to bet on Vela redemption somehow. Or really, I just want one of us to be betting on Vela redemption.
I have an idea for a Vela redemption bet for you.
Okay.
He scores a PK.
Oh God. Okay, Vela scores a PK.
Because that's outlandish because they're not going to let him fucking take it.
Oh, fuck. 3 goals over 2 games. Okay. That one's really frustrating. Okay, these are both very frustrating bets, which is perfect because my bet is so frustrating that it is this outlandish right now. And it's same for your bet. The fact that we're at a time where 3 goals in 2 games counts as this segment where we make ridiculous outlandish bets.
Yes.
This is very upsetting
well.
to me.
Well, we shall see. That's our show. Darren, take us away.
Well, just a reminder, we'll be streaming our post-game call-in show 10 minutes after the final whistle on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@HappyFootSaid.
And quickly, we're going to try a new program. We're going to use StreamYards, which we've used before for other stuff, but never for call-in. But the program we've been using has made our audio sort of fucked up at the beginning of both of the last 2 post games. We're sorry that it sounds like crunchy and weird in those. So we're going to try it this way. It turns out that having a live call-in show is more difficult than it seems. And a lot of the apps that might be good for it, or a lot of the websites that might be good for it, don't utilize mobile. And most people use mobile when they're calling in. So we're going to try StreamYards.
We don't have a team, guys.
There's a couple of parameters for StreamYards. Like when you call in on iPhone, it have to be Safari, and there's a different one for Android. We'll put that all in the chat, but I just want you to know we're sorry for the audio quality and postgame being shitty. We're working on it.
We're always thinking of you. Okay. Yeah, but join. It's been really fun. The chat's been, oh man. I came out of that last game with a whole lot to get off my chest, and so did a whole lot of you, and it was real fun.
Our theme music is done by the insane team of James Valentine, Nate Walcott, and Louis Palmer. Along with YouTube, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and if you're an old man, Facebook. Do people follow us on Facebook? Am I just insulting people?
We're huge on LinkedIn.
I don't have a Facebook, so I've never checked. Do we have any followers on Facebook?
I don't know. I was well-meaning about maintaining that page, and I haven't really been doing it.
So so I'm going to... Don't follow us on Facebook. I'm getting rid of the Facebook as of right.
No, I'm gonna do a better job.
Okay.
If you spend your time on Facebook, follow us there, and let us know somehow.
Let us know on
some
Facebook
other platform
that you want.
No, we'll find out. Yeah, let us know on Facebook that like you're around, waiting for us to be better on Facebook. And I would love to.
If
know
you
if
enjoyed this podcast, please like, subscribe, follow, rate, review, send to a friend. If you happen to know any Houston Dynamo podcasters, shut your fucking mouth.
Okay. Oh my God. Be cool. Okay? Be cool.
We're doing this entirely on our own dime. So any new listeners go a long way to making us feel better about doing this. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the live stream, baby. I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
Don't talk.
Don't. Snitches get blocked from the podcast. I love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. Love you. Bye.